Hello, this is Spellbinder. I found another article that probably you won't come across unless you go through all the alternative news sources like Rinse.com or Alex Jones, Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com. This one here is from the Dr. Coldwell report, blogspot.com. And it's Friday, July 2nd, 2010. He says his friend sent him this. It says, a biblical catastrophe that will affect us all. A spill, uncontrolled gush, will devastate America? Yes, but that's the idea. Written by a friend of mine, Larry Comstock. Hello all. The potential magnitude of what is imploding in the Gulf of Mexico simply cannot be overstated. It is far, far worse than is being admitted, and what we are allowed to see is catastrophic enough. When a major event happens, we should watch and wait to see what information comes to light before jumping in with this or it's that. What appears to be one thing at the start can become something quite different a few days or weeks later. But we now have had enough time to shake our heads at claims that this was just an accident or incompetence. Beware. Cover stories of incompetence as with incompetent bureaucrats, because they are so often a veil for cold calculation. The Gulf of Mexico disaster didn't just happen, it was made to happen. Mother Jones magazine reported Tony Busby, a lawyer representing 15 rig workers and dozens of shrimpers, seafood restaurants, and dock workers, said he has obtained a 3-page signed statement from a crew member on the boat that rescued the burning rig's workers. The sailor, who Busby refuses to name for fear of costing him his job, was on the ship's bridge when Deepwater Horizon's installation manager, Jimmy Harrell, a top employee of rig owner Transocean, was speaking with someone in Houston via the satellite phone. Busby told Mother Jones that according to this witness account, Harrell was screaming, "Are you fucking happy? Are you fucking happy? The rig's on fire! I told you this was going to happen!" Yes, and nothing was done because it was meant to happen. Well, we are well aware of Halliburton. The company headed by a key player behind the war on Iraq has since been awarded a stream of no-bid government contracts in the country that has transferred staggering amounts of taxpayer money into the pig trough infested by Halliburton's executive and shareholders. Lawsuits claim that the explosion on the Deepwater Horizon rig, 52 miles southeast of Louisiana Port of Venice on April 20th, was caused because Halliburton's workers improperly capped the well, a process known as cementing. Yeah, they pumped seawater down there and said, that's okay, that's heavy enough. Yeah, 72,000 psi getting ready to come up and you're pumping seawater in there instead of heavy mud. Okay. Just 8 days before the Gulf blowout, Halliburton also announced that it had agreed to buy Boots and Coats, a $240.4 million industry. Who are Boots and Coats? The world's largest oil spill cleanup company, which also deals with oil and gas well fires and blowouts. What an incredible, fortunate coincidence. What a slice of luck. Goldman Sachs sold 44% of its holdings in BP, a total of 4,680,822 shares worth of the best part of a $300 million in the weeks before the Gulf disaster that sent BP shares plummeting, and Tony Hayward's BP disgraceful chief executive is reported to have sold his 1.4 million shares in BP a month before the explosion. The profit allowed him to pay off the mortgages on his mansion. How nice. As with pre-9/11 put options bets on the stocks of America Airlines falling, so we have gathering evidence that some people knew what was coming in the Gulf of Mexico from an oil rig operated by one of the biggest companies on the planet, British Petroleum, which isn't very British. It's owned by several people. It's not Don't blame the British people on this. It's not their fault. It's this company's fault, which is a multinational corporation. Merely drilling where BP did with the known pressure from within the earth was asking for trouble. But what's the deal? How does an oil-poisoned ocean and devastated coastal communities and potentially other far inland and around the world benefit an agenda for total global control? Or is it for control? Question mark. Oh, in so many ways. Firstly, we need to appreciate the almost unimaginable scale of what's happening. The fact that BP and Obama-fronted American government are desperate to keep from us. Recent reports have claimed to quote the opinions of scientists who are too fearful to be publicly named because of the consequences for their lives and careers. They estimate the release of oil from under the Earth's crust at between 80,000 and 100,000 barrels a day. That is 4.2 million gallons or 15.9 million liters a day potentially pouring into the Gulf. This aligns with the leaked internal BP document that says that in a worst case scenario, up to 100,000 barrels a day could be released into the ocean. The scientists were quoted as saying that the sandblasting of the oil toxic gases, rocks, and sand will be continually making a bigger hole in the oil and gas to escape. In other words, the situation is getting worse, not better, and it's already a catastrophe of immense proportions for those immediately affected, the number growing rapidly by day. The scientists predicted that the drill hole will expand beneath the wellhead and so weaken the area on which the wellhead stands until it is pushed off the hole to allow the oil to flow with no restrictions at all. And it will be going through all the strata and everything down there that has cracks in it. It's going to be nasty. Should that happen, the consequences are unthinkable. Scientists said that the temperature at the depths of 400 degrees will turn the water into steam, creating a pressure that will lift the ocean floor. They estimate that this will create a tsunami of between 20 and 80 feet or even higher, and it will bring the poisoned ocean ashore to leave great traces of land uninhabitable and without life for many years. On top of that, American investigative journalist Wayne Madison writes that satellite imagery withheld by the Obama administration shows that under the gaping chasm spewing oil at an ever-alarming rate is a cavern estimated to be around the size of Mount Everest. This formation, he says, has been given an almost national security level classification to keep it from the public. Now, we have heard many doomsday scenarios before in many circumstances that have not manifested. But even if such shocking predictions do not happen on a staggering scale, there is no question that the world changed on April 20th, 2010 when the Deepwater Horizon rig exploded. Just look around at the map of the Gulf region, reveal the potential effects on an enormous number of people in Mexico, Caribbean, and southern states of America, with so many living on or close to the coastline. But the scale and potential of what we are seeing goes way beyond even the Gulf. The scientists mentioned earlier saying that the oil has now reached the Gulf Stream. With such a current at least 4 times stronger in the Gulf of Mexico itself, this could help direct the oil all over the world in the next 18 months. It is the Gulf Stream that keeps the United Kingdom and parts of Europe much warmer than they would otherwise be at their latitude, but it will also act as an oceanic conveyor belt, delivering the oil from the Gulf of Mexico across the Atlantic. The toxic oil gas are being added to by lethal dispersants used by BP to theoretically for public consumption only disperse the oil. They are using Corexant 9500 and Corexant 9527A, which are also so toxic they have been banned in Europe, although Europe is likely to get them anyways via the Gulf Stream. Well, I'm going to have to get off of here. I'll leave a link to this and you can read the rest of this article. For now, this is Spellbinder with this news moment. And if you need to see this bigger, just enlarge it on the YouTube channel. It has a little box there. You can enlarge this to full screen and you can actually read while I'm I got here, you can actually read all this and decide on yourself what they're doing down there. But I'll leave a link for this. So everyone, be good at it. This is Spellbinder. Good day.